he was efficient shooting the ball in game 3, only had 2 turnovers, 13 assists. That team still only had like 80-some points. Like, where, when you look back at your success defensively, how did you find your team being successful in that end of the floor, and where do you anticipate Denver kind of being better tonight?
I'm not going to tell you where I anticipate them being better, but we pay attention to details. I mean, like I said, it's a tough cover, when you have Jamal Murray coming off pick and roll and the decisions you have to make with Joker being involved. And so we know if we double team him, he's a great passer, can pick you apart. If you leave him one-on-one, he can score 50, and so it's just a fine line and just mixing it up and just trying to keep him all balanced as best as possible. But, he's so great that, it's tough to even try to take him out of series doing one thing or another. And so we just got to be strategic in what we're doing, understanding what we're doing when we're on the floor, and then just kind of go from there. But it's not easy.
Ty, they've mentioned that the full court press at times is kind of taking them out of what they want to do, obviously getting them later into actions. But you haven't done that. Like, you kind of pick your spots. How are you picking your spots when you guys kind of do that throughout the game?
Yeah, I mean, we just wanted to ramp our pressure up. I think we wanted to just try to wear them down. We know they're playing a lot of minutes, and if we can get KD and DJ up the floor, pressuring Jamal, and, when Nico comes in the game, pressuring Gordon, when Ben comes in the game, pressuring Joker, just try to, wear them down as much as possible, try to slow them down so they don't have a lot of time to, like I said, run their movement stuff and try to pick you apart.
Are you noticing them maybe getting a little more fatigued?
No.
Okay.
Ty, when you have a 2-1 lead and you have this game at home, what's the approach for your team?
The same approach we had last game. The last 2 games, I think game 2 they scored 16 points in the first 4.5 minutes, and then, game 3 they scored 20 points in the first, 4.5 minutes. And so we got to be locked in, to start defensively, and so they've come out, really aggressive, really scoring the basketball in that first quarter. So we just got to come out with a defensive mindset, like I said, to start the game and not give them, any life to start the game, because they are, like I said, they are a really good team. Their starting 5 is amazing. And like I said, they won a championship 2 years ago, so we got to be locked in.
Ty, when you get to this point of a series, how much of it is adjustments left to be made, and how much of it is guys just need to run the things that you're trying to run a little bit better, a little bit crisper?
Yeah, I mean, just do what we're supposed to do. They mix up coverages. They've done a good job of just, trying to keep us all balanced coming out of timeouts. And so we just got to understand, like, we know for each situation, we know what we're supposed to do, and so just not getting bored with the process, taking what the defense gives us and just kind of going from there. And then, last game, I think we had the best shot quality in the playoffs so far, out of all teams. And so just sticking with what works, don't get bored with the process, and then just kind of go from there.
Coach, going back to Jokic, there was a moment in the fourth quarter yesterday where he seemed seemingly frustrated during a timeout with his coaches and his teammates. When you get a guy like that frustrated, is that, just curious from your standpoint, is that something that you show your guys the next day, knowing that, hey, whatever we're executing, we have him frustrated over there and it's working? And is it something that kind of motivates your guys?
No, not really, because now Joker might come out and shoot every time and score 50, 60, So, I mean, you never know what that means. Like, he's just trying to fire his team up, trying to fire himself up, but he's passionate about winning. And so when you want to win, of course you're going to try to do things to motivate your team, get guys on board. And so I have no problem with that, And so if guys are, that excited about winning and wants to do whatever it takes to win, like, you got to respect that.
Hey, Ty, I know we ask you about Nico a lot, but how much does he sort of how contagious is his play as far as just like ball movement?
Very contagious. I think, the things that he does, all the intangibles on the defensive end, making open shots, a great connector, ball mover, getting to the next actions. But the biggest play for me is like when he chased down and got that block in transition, like just showing we know we got to get back in transition. We can't allow this team to get easy points and easy baskets. And I thought we'd done a way better job in game 2 into game 3. Game 1 we wasn't that good. And so just understanding, paying attention to details. But he is the ultimate connector. And like I said, having him on the floor, like I said, we are a really good team.
Coach, when it comes to Norm, game 1, he kind of had some issues. Game 2 too, but he kind of figured something out in that fourth quarter, and then he comes back game 3 with 20 points. Just What's his psyche right now, and how important is it for him to, stay aggressive and, take those shots and not pass them up like he did in some of game one?
Yeah, I mean, he feels good. And, Norm works too hard and puts too much work in not to trust, what he does. And he, I don't think Norm's one of those guys who's going to miss 3 or 4 shots and turn the next one down. That's not who he is. And so when you put the work in that he does, you just got to stay confident. Like I said, the staff and the players just staying confident with him and knowing that he was going to have a breakout game. And so, last game was good. So hopefully we can continue to build on that today.
Yeah.